Man, it's tough, right? We got the Fox hate coming in. Already seeing the comments on Instagram. It's all good though. You are who you are. It's good. Tough game. Very tough game. No Luka tonight. Should have won the game. But the Mavs, give them credit. They play very hard. And they have a bunch of dudes who just play hard every single possession. And even though they won't get far in the playoffs, you got to be impressed with what they've done the last, I don't know how many games. They've been on the roll. So they beat Golden State twice, back-to-back games in Dallas. Tonight down 19 points, fought back. It definitely helps when the refs are on your side and when Mark Cuban makes the call. But, the Kings should have closed business, and they didn't. They gave him life. The Mavericks responded. That simple. De'Aaron Fox, 44 points, but at the end of the day, you need the others to make good plays, right? You can't have Dante, and I keep on repeating myself, you can't have Dante take these ill-advised shots, these wacko circus three-pointers. Like, he's not an elite three-point shooter. He needs to stop doing that. Swing the damn ball. Too much time left on the shot clock for you to airball the ball and give the ball back to Dallas, man. I don't care how good you are defensively. You're not good enough offensively to take those types of shots. Play your damn role. I highly doubt that he was taking those type of shots in Milwaukee. Highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. He should not be taking those shots here. He's not that good yet. So, it's tough. Then you got Justin Holiday, who doesn't make many mistakes defensively. Make a tremendous mistake defensively in the biggest moment of them all, when the lights are on you. No reason to help at all. No reason to help. Just basketball IQ wise, if you've ever played basketball in your life, you stay home. Especially on the guy that actually wanted to take the damn shot. Like, it just no sense. You had two dudes converging, and Davion and Fox on Brunson, and yet you leave? For what? And yeah, Fox missed a free throw. That would have been huge. Say it all plays out that way. Now they're down by 2, and you got 3 seconds left. You don't have to go for a 3. But that's not the reason why they lost. Right? Sabonis missed 4 free throws. The team shot the ball well from the free throw line. 5 missed free throws for the game, not that bad. I think it was 5, maybe 6. But come on. It's discouraging not getting the win like this. You end up with the 2-2 road trip. Should have been 3-1. Man, that's tough. New Orleans won again. Really, you're just chasing the Lakers at this point because New Orleans is good. And New Orleans is going to take the 9 seed. So it's between Spurs, Lakers, Kings, and someone else. And I'm ending with the Blazers in there, to be honest with you. So Spurs, Kings, Lakers for the last 10 spot. There's still time. I like the resiliency of this team. De'Aaron Fox is playing inspired basketball, especially on ball. Like, you see his on ball defense. Dude is a hound. And it's just, we're going to watch the highlights right now. But, we have Miego Santiago say it's empty stats. But when Tyrese has a big game and they lose, apparently those aren't empty. It's okay to say they're empty stats, but just be consistent. That's all I'm asking for. Is if you're consistent with what you preach, then that's okay. I'm okay with that. But when you're wishy-washy about certain players getting the nod and certain players not getting the nod when they lose, right? If it's a result-oriented league, then what's up with that? That's the real question. And don't use age as an excuse. That's the weakest argument there is in basketball, age. They're 2 years apart. It doesn't matter if he's in year number 2. They're 2 years apart, literally. So be consistent. If you're going to blame Fox and say he's empty stats, say the exact same thing for Tyrese, because Tyrese was part of the problem in Sacramento. He definitely wasn't a solution, and we saw it plenty of times. Got ran by 53 points by the Celtics, allowed 3 games in a row, 70-plus points at the half with Tyrese. Come on, man. Yesterday, Pacers got a good taste of medicine of what we've been talking about. Not aggressive enough. But this ain't about Tyrese. I'm just addressing it real fast. Of just stay consistent. If you're gonna blame Fox for this, that's all. We got Rashawn Holmes on the line right now, in the post game presser, but that's all. Uh, let's look at these highlights real fast. Here we go. Okay. Oh man, Sabonis. He was eating early. Fouled fouled Powell out for sure. Jeez Louise, and one. That was nice. Kings were rolling. I mean, they were steamrolling these dudes in the third quarter. Lots of no calls that went the Mavs' way, and they kept the game close, right? Holiday, he needs to play better, man. Like, he needs to shoot the ball better. Point blank, period. You can't have that, man. Dribble handoff to a second dribble handoff. Then Sabonis doing what he does best. Just hammer that down. Easy buckets, right? Here we go with Brunson. 1-on-1. This dude's nice with it. Yup. Split act. We got D-Fox here. They say take his left hand away. Take his left hand away. Well, it doesn't matter. You know what he wants to do. He's still going to do it. He's going left. You just can't guard this, man. Bertans in transition. This dude's a freak athlete in green. Freak. He's a freak. I love seeing Fox play angry. I really wish he played like this all the time. If he played like that all the time, he's John Morant, right? I think I've been saying that for years now. It's if he plays angry like this, you really can't stop him. Like this is the version you want, and who knows? Maybe this trade opens this version of him up, right? Like it unlocks this version for him. Now he knows that on most nights he can depend on Sabonis. Tonight he had a tough time and down the stretch, didn't get no calls, right? But as they start winning these games and the record gets better, the refs are going to give them again. The refs are very biased in terms of who's playing, who gets calls, and for some reason you kind of have to earn it, which is the wrong approach. It's the wrong thing, but you know what the unwritten rules are, and it's refs will give winning teams, stars, those calls, those 50-50 calls. And the Kings don't get those calls unless it's just blatant. And even when they're blatant, they still don't get those calls. But, I mean, that's just what it's going to take. You know, Rashawn had some good moments in the first half. Offensively, you know, just getting those hustle shots, those hustle tip-ins. Here we go. Switch. I mean, that's a tough shot. 6'9", 6'10" there for Bertans. He's going to make that. And then Fox is just dancing on these guys like if it's a quinceañera, right? Doing a little waltz, doing a little surprise dance there. Spencer Dinwiddie is nice with it too. He's strong. He's physical. He hit a big shot over Fox in crunch time. We knew he was gonna get his, right. Here we go again. He's too small. Good defense, just better offense. Pick and roll here. Sabonis say now you too small. So mismatch after mismatch, right? Uh, Bam. So yeah, let's get back to this. What's up? What's up, Chuck? Coaches are irrelevant. All the decisions are handed down to them nowadays anyway. What are you talking about? Kings just need to learn how to play all 42 minutes and finish the game. I'm tired of teams coming back and beating us after the half. I feel like Sabonis and Barnes should consistently take more shots. Kings need to get better coaching. Nothing will change until they get a great coach. That's true. The refs aren't going to give him the calls. If they start winning, he'll get the calls. Stop with the empty stats. Let's talk about how about Brogdon is back with the Pacers and Tyrese went back to his ways when the Kings were healthy. 8 points, 7 assists. I'm so tired of this crap. Empty stats. Let's keep this on the Kings and let's go to the past. How would you compare Cat and Fox as a franchise players? I think they're very similar in the sense that they haven't had that success. Cat is class of 2000, what is it, 15? Is he a 15 or 16 class? Forget. But he's been in the league longer. But they've had relatively similar careers where, you know, individually speaking, we all know how good they are. And Cat has been criticized defensively his entire career this year, playing a lighter. They surrounded him with better talent, right? It took them long enough as well. They have a healthy D. Russell, an emerging superstar, and Ant, and things started to roll the right way. So they hired a good coach and Coach Finch from the Raptors culture. So you see what happens when you do the right things, and that's what the Kings did. Post trade, right? They made the big trade. It's been 10 games, 9 games, and you'll start to see those fruits. It's going to happen. Like, this feels different. The results have been similar, but it feels different. Like, this team is more engaged defensively. I forget what the stats were, but Fox is talking right now. Um, Let me see what the stats were real fast. Let's bring this up real quick. So we had shout out to my boy, um, King's Film Room, right? His name is Skyler, and he said on the season, 7% of the Kings' offense comes from cutting. Since the trade, 10.9% comes from the cutting. Both the DHO percentage and the cutting percentage would be first in the NBA, and that's because of Sabonis. So your offense changes dramatically. You have more of an inside-out game now as opposed to all perimeter-based, one-on-one, lack of weak side movement. And now you have a real offense where you can exponentially maximize a guy like Fox, where it was extremely difficult for him to play off the ball when there was no double teams coming. And a great example of that is even when Sabonis is out the game and they try to put Harrison Barnes in the post, yet you're not getting those double teams like you are with Sabonis, right? So now, because Fox still lacks his 3-point shot, you can play off of him now. And his cutting isn't as effective as if it would be with Sabonis, with throwing the ball in with Sabonis. Obviously, I'm talking about logical things, but it's important to realize that when he does come off the floor and when you had Tyrese never commanded a double team. So that's how you unlock a guy like Fox. You put a all-star big man with him, right, who can do a lot of multiple things a lot of versatile things on the offensive end. Yeah, he struggles defensively. Teams are going to put him in the role on these switches. Then they're going to attack him, and he's been in foul trouble this whole road trip. And it's been hard for him to really, really get that consistency, that flow to his game, even though he's put up great stats. I mean, he's a stat stuffer no matter what. In limited time or not, like he's going to put up great stats. He's just a great player. But in terms of overall flow, it's been hard for him because teams understand that the only way they can stop him is by literally putting him on the bench. And how do you do that? Well, you put him in positions to where refs can either keep the game close or they can just let the Kings steamroll over these teams. And as we know, the refs are going to keep this close and call these shots where a lot of the times are very iffy. So that's that. And I do want to check out what Harrison's stat line was, though, because I wasn't. So Fox just ended his call. Let me see. So Harrison Barnes, 9 points. That's just unacceptable, right? And we talk about this. He has too many of these. He blends in too much with the others. Harrison got to be good for this team to win games. And taking 8 shots is just not enough. That's on him as well. That's also on the coaching staff for not setting up their players for success. Sabonis 15 and 10, another double-double. Again, our boy Santiago will say, well, they're empty. You know, it is what it is. Trey Lyles, 11 points, 6 rebounds. I thought his 18 minutes felt positive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty harsh on him, but I felt like his 18 minutes were well worth it. He definitely earned those minutes. Metu's 10 minutes felt strong, right? 5 points, 3 rebounds. He looked lively out there, athletic, grabbing those rebounds in traffic. You know, trying to set that tone defensively. Got called for at least one goaltend, but you know, that's okay. I love Metu off your bench. It's just I can't have him starting, just like I can't have Lyle starting, and that's a huge problem with this team is that they really only have 3 high-level starters. Justin Holiday, you know, Dante, who hasn't gotten the start. Trey Lyles is most definitely not a starter. Guy's a below-average player. You know, Holiday's a good player, but he probably doesn't start on most teams. You know, Dante, if you get like the very, you know, less reckless Dante, where he's not taking these wild-ass shots, he could start, right? Especially if you have Chris Middleton, Giannis, and, you know, Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday. But, man, I still think they should start him, even though he just takes god-awful shots. I mean, he takes some bad shots. His best shot is a corner shot. When he's set. Moving off the bounce, just, it's difficult to watch him play. I'm happy Harkless is not playing. I'm happy Alex Len is not playing. Damian Jones, obviously I love Damian, but with Holmes back, 16 minutes, 6 rebounds, 6 points, you know, he's trying to get back into, you know, playing Richaun Holmes basketball. I believe that if he buys into his role, they could very well start him, and he could play that 4, 5, whatever it is, man. Like, if I'm not the dude that labels guys, you're a 4, you're a 5, you're a 1, you're a 2. You're a basketball player. Can you play together? You put the best 5 players possible. Richaun Holmes is one of your 5 best players, period. And with all these, you know, with the eye, with the COVID, with the back, all these things with the personal problems, it's life, man, and it's hit him hard this year. But I could see it working, especially defensively, and the way Sabonis finds guys in the high post anyway. It could work. And honestly, with 17 or 16 games remaining, why not try it? Why not try it, right? And I also like the fact that if you do keep him on the bench, you have a quality big that could replace him. Not necessarily replace his production, but give you a different element where you're not going to get destroyed, where you could still be aggressively defensively. But he's not there yet. He's not 100% of what Rashawn Holmes is, of what he's capable of, because as we all know, we're all humans and it takes some time. It takes time to get back into the flow of things. But in theory, from what we've seen and from what we know about Rashawn, is that if you get Rashawn at his highest point, that's just a valuable asset coming off your bench or starting next to Sabonis. Davion Mitchell, 4 points. I thought he had good moments defensively. 23 minutes. Dante played 34 minutes, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Again, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, but it's those 3 misses that were just reckless. No need for those shots at all. Like, I get it, he shot 50%, but he shot some bad, ill-advised, ill-timed 3-point shots, man. That's a tough pill to swallow. That's a tough one. It says, what does it say? Tyrese is a pacer. Go over there and complain about him. Oh. You're a bozo. You say Fox can't shoot, and today he had one of the best shooting performances of the year, 20% from 3. No one showed up. Oh, you hate Fox then. I don't hate him. Fox said, no, man, he's just not a real franchise player. Well, if he's not a franchise player, what do you mean by that, though? Right? Like, let's define what franchise player means. Are you saying a Batman, a Robin? Because you can be a franchise player and be a Robin, right? Like on a championship team, like Chris Middleton, second best player on the championship team. Obviously, he's not Giannis. But Anthony Davis, second best player on the championship team. He's a Robin. Has a skill set of a Batman, but he has yet to prove that he's a Batman. Like, whatever you want to call it, like for whatever excuse, he's a Robin. LeBron's a Batman, right? If you truly think about it, you can count on your hand how many Batmans are in the NBA. There aren't many. So when people say franchise player, and I've seen these labeled on Tyrese, it's just a complete joke. Because he's not he's nowhere near a franchise player. He's nowhere near an all-star level player. Right? There's all-stars, and then there's superstars. To me, Fox is an all-star. To me, Sabonis is an all-star. They've proven that they can play at an all-star level for an entire season. They have a full repertoire, a full body of work showing that they can be that guy. That doesn't mean that makes you a superstar. They're all-stars and then they're superstars. The Kings don't have a superstar. Tyrese is not even an all-star. And he's not going to make an all-star team unless a lot of dudes get hurt in the East. So let's put that to rest. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. So franchise player, like, define what that is to you. Is a franchise player a Batman? Is a franchise player an all-star? Because those are two different things. Define what a franchise player means first. To me, what a franchise player is, it's hard. Like, it's honestly, that's a weird label to me because I define things as superstar, all-stars. That's how I like to differentiate the both terms. There are superstars and there are all-stars. There are very few superstars. There are a lot of all-stars in this league. Well, not a lot, but more than what you would think, right? There are guys who get named to the all-star game, guys that don't, that are really all-stars. They play at an all-star level. Teams are game planning around these dudes, right? So that's how I define players: superstars, all-stars. All-stars, almost, all-star level player. They're right there. You don't have to make an all-star team to be an all-star. And that's just the truth. You don't. We had Dame not make the all-star team for a while before he was an all-star. Like, we had DeMarcus really be an all-star before he was named an all-star. And that happens a lot. That happens way too often. Oh, I see. It's just a S starter rolling the chat looking for a reaction. I get it now. I will skip past his BS comments. Then you keep talking about empty stats. We paid Fox to be our franchise player. Yes. Fox is an all-star. Franchise player. And that comment's twofold, right? Because if the Kings don't pay him, someone else would have paid him. And someone else would have probably gotten this version of Fox that we're seeing today a lot sooner, right? Because if he goes to a good organization, because the Kings are a bad organization, if he goes to a good organization, they would have unlocked this version of Fox faster. And the reason why we're seeing this real good version of Fox now is because they finally decided to go get an all-star to play with him. So now you're going to see a different version, an optimized version of De'Aaron Fox, who, let's be honest, is playing like that franchise all-star that you thought you were going to pay him. Now, when you pay a dude, you're not paying him off that year. You're paying him off what he could potentially be. And I think that's the big misconception. And, I'm a broken record, and really anybody is that actually does this, because fans identify you need to be a superstar to get paid that amount of money. If you go down the league, across the league, if that was the case, then we would have 1,000 superstars. But that's not the case, because a lot of dudes get paid money. Andrew Wiggins gets paid a lot of money. He just made his first All-Star game 9 years into the league. He's been getting paid. That's because when you're a high draft pick, the way the NBA has their contract set, that's the amount that you got to get paid. It's what the market value is. It's not what you think you deserve. And that's the huge misconception with a lot of uneducated fans, or better yet, uninformed fans who don't truly understand it from the business side of things. Because, the house that I paid for was $385, right? Today, it's worth at least $520,000. House across the street just sold for $505, and it's nowhere near as nice as mine. I put a lot of money into mine already. That's what I'm saying. It's supply and demand, and it's what's the market value for this type of player. Whether you think he deserves it or not, it doesn't matter what you think. It's what the market dictates it to be. So this whole argument of, oh, he's getting paid, it doesn't matter what he's getting paid. That's what he would have gotten paid anywhere else. And that's a fact. But I think that's enough, man. Well, I appreciate you guys as always. I think we've been on here plenty enough. Thank you guys so much, man. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.